I need to talk to you.
Welcome, one and all, whoever may be watching this. Okay, look, I realized that I've been pronouncing the name of this game wrong. It's Tides of Numenéra, I think should be how it's said. I did notice that there were a couple of extra letters that I was missing, and then also one of the E's has an accent above it, so apologies. So what's-his-face wants me to talk to him?
This is the Reef of Fallen Worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, well, we should get out of here as soon as possible.
Why were you looking at me when you said that? I wasn't, he growls. Don't be so paranoid. But when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrow at you knowingly. What makes Reef so dangerous? The Numenéra of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too, some closer than others. I hate to think what Calestige might do to her if I weren't here. What's your story? Ask me again when we get out of here. Typical! Okay, what do you think of Calestige? A parasite disguised as a scholar. Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that would be slow for her. Then why are you traveling with her? He clenches his mouth shut and you can see his jaw muscles working. She said she could help me with a problem I had. We never seemed to get anywhere with my business, but found plenty of time for hers. He looks at you square in the eyes. It wasn't something I'd care to do again. Keep that in mind when you talk to her. Let's keep going, alright? Who said about time?
Watch your steps, child. This is not a place to walk lightly. There are dangers in the reef, both old and new.
What's your story? She laughs. Now is not the time, dear, nor is the reef a safe place for lengthy disquisition. Rest assured, when we reach the cliffs, there will be plenty of time to swap tales. What do you think of Allergan? Her lips pucker like she's tasting something foul. He's useful, she finally says. At least he was once. If that pompous luck Nimba, forgive my language, dear, finds one more fault with me, I expect my sisters will murder him in several realities. She cocks her head to the side. There goes one now. Who are these echoes of you? They are me. We are all part of each other, sisters across infinite realities. We share our experiences and power. What's that old saying? That experience brings wisdom. I must be the wisest person in Sangus Cliffs, the wisest across the countless worlds. Her laughter pearls out. Alright, let's keep going. So, I guess we're leaving this place. Going to the cult.
I'm going.
Two floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet, burning leaves. Watch them for patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster with their spiraling paths across each other. Their edges seem to trace faint glow lines that twine around each other, resembling a rope fastened to some invisible point beyond this time and place. Touch a cone as it passes. So, being a noob, as I am, I'm just curious if at any point in time there's going to be a situation where we're going to be needing to use up like all of our points. Like if there's dialogue or like crises or whatever. Because right now I've only ever had to use like one. Right, you managed to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Run, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's black and in a pale white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbit it like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankles, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched air and grief. Your vision returns. The cone hangs motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. Interesting. It does, at least so far, it does seem to kind of pay off if you sort of watch things rather than just jump in straight away. Oh, hold on.
Ready.
What's this giant thing? I missed it.
I'm going.
A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Lean out and touch it, why not? You raise your hand toward the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. Uh-oh. I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Allergan says casual. Aeon Priest. A beam came out the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Oh, hush. At least that poor priest died in the service of his curiosity rather than stumbling about the coast complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you, ignoring Allergan's glare. But do be careful. Alright, I might leave it alone for the moment.
Done.
Would be curious to see what would happen if I die, though.
On my way.
Uh-oh. Crisis time. As you step onto what looks like the back of an enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on grey gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Calestige. She's the star, or she came out of it. But what does Cal have to do with this? Cal, I thought you'd sworn off trawling the reef. Found anything tasty? His eyes travel up and down both you and Allergan. Odds and ends, Quoro. Nothing that would interest you, I'm sure. Her words are calm, but she has gone quite still. What is he doing here? He has something up his sleeve, I know it. Calestige, is something wrong? Nothing's wrong, dear. I accompanied Quoro on an expedition once, long ago. His methods were too crass for my tastes, though in his defense he never tried to kill me when my back was turned. She beams at Quoro. Or if he did, he failed and I didn't notice. I don't like this, Allergan hisses in your ear, but loud enough that Calestige can hear too. If she's cagey about him, it can only mean trouble. You should hear what I tell people about you, dear. She gives Allergan a venomous smile. Killer or not, she whispers, Quoro is not a man who can be trusted with unvarnished truth. Tread lightly. What do you want? Right to the point, this one, isn't she? I know most of the draft that scavages the reef these days, but it's a rare pleasure to see a new face. His smile is disarming. All I want is information. A falling star landed near here not long ago. I don't suppose you were around to see it. Nice scars. How did you get them? Two things are more dangerous than death in this world, he says, his smile widening. Asking impolite questions of strangers and playing with Numenéra you don't fully understand. My era was the latter category, and I've grown more careful since. What are those gloves for? Unwelcome but anticipated complications? He does not elaborate. He does so love his ambushes. Calisthesia whispers in your ear again, even though her mouth is closed and she isn't looking at you. He didn't have the gloves when I knew him last, but I'd wager they're connected to devices in this area. So, Poirot says, apparently unaware of Calisthesia's interruption, the star? Have you seen it? Where did this star land? Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be reduced to harassing noble travellers. I never saw it, you see. My employer did and thought, who is the most trustworthy team I can send at a moment's notice? He winks. Luckily, they were on another assignment. We were interested and weren't too drunk yet, so... What interests you about this star? How kind of you to ask, Poirot says, clapping his gloved hands together. So few people are interested in the tangled motivations of paid explorers. He spreads his arms as if holding the sky and continues. The world is littered with ruins and fascinating secrets. Trouble is, anyone can claim them. But when something falls from the sky, that's rarer, and a man can make his name off such a find. He pauses, then adds, we're also being paid quite handsomely. That helps. I'll be honest with you, I saw the star, but I don't know where it landed. Yeah, me with my terrible deception. Okay, none of us are great. Okay. Well, yoink that up to 60. Nice. Poirot studies you for a moment before sighing. All right, he says. Well, do let us know if you spot anything of interest. I'd like to say we'd pay for the privilege, but if we were rich, we wouldn't be down here, would we? If she's not telling the truth, then she's a fantastic liar. Guess I was wrong. Nice thinking, kid. That would have been a fiasco. You figured out why they were here, right? I knew I couldn't trust Calisthesia. This is the last time I make that mistake. They saw me fall from the sky and came to investigate? Oh, sure, and they just had that ambush ready to go at the same time we were leaving. No, kid, Calisthesia sold us out. Excuse me? Are you suggesting I had something to do with Poirot's plans? Oh, I cannot abide his rabid paranoia a moment longer. Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happens to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us, as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years? It's too convenient for me. Too convenient by far. Of all the idiotic paranoid delusions, you really believe this, don't you? You really believe I'd use a half-wit like Poirot to stab you in the back rather than do it myself? You see, kid, she'll stab you in the back, first chance she gets, most likely in your sleep. He throws his hands up, forestalling Calisthesia's retort. Look, I don't care. Fact is, I can't trust you anymore, and I wonder why I ever did. This is the last we travel together. I've got enough to worry about without having to watch my back 28 hours a day. He turns to you. You coming, kid, or what? You really gonna walk away from each other over this? Oh, this is just the last needle that crushed Theanine. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths, not 1/20. She's a backstabbing woman, and this mess here only proves it. Always a paragon of class, Allegan. If I did have any interest in betraying you, do you really think I would need Poirot's help? Yet this is the thanks I get for coddling your pain-rattled judgmental weakness for so long. I've had enough. She turns to you. Child, I am happy to guide you, but I will not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon. Finally, something we can agree on, he growls. Kid, she'll chop off your head and spit down your throat. I'll get you where you need to go and let you sleep at night to boot, but it's up to you. Why can't I travel with both of you? Can't you just work it out? She bursts out laughing. My dear girl, we have been working it out. Allergan's petulance, his obstinacy in the face of fact drive me away every day. He might be strong, but he's also thick. I dare you to try traveling with him and see how long you endure. Not as long as I have, I'll wager. His face darkens under her accusations, but he manages a pained smile. As if you're doing me a favor by staying with me? Do you think I don't see your true self in all of those echoes around you? That's you, Calistige, every facet of it. Your vivisectionist's heart hasn't changed, just the way you present it. I thought I could help you, but I'll go with Allergan.
As you wish. Should you change your mind, I'll be at the order of truth. But don't bring the complainer. A farewell to you, child, and best of luck. You'll need it.
And good riddance, he gestures towards the stair. Come on, whatever answers exist are up there. Wow. This game just really throws you into it. Okay, now that you've dealt with Quoro and his goons, you can continue on to the city of Sagus Cliffs. To reach the city, cross the bridge at the north end of the platform. I mean, that's where I was going. It's kind of where I'm being ushered to, but okay. I'm going to assume either option that you choose has its pros and cons. Like, I really doubt that there is one person who you should stick with throughout this entire game. Okay, so it almost looks like we're more or less the same character. He's just got one more might than me, and I've got more speed than him. Can I see... what's he? Okay, I think he's a mage as well. It's just, I'm not seeing it anywhere, but I can sort of tell from his abilities. Oh no, okay, Hardened Nano who fights with his demons. Okay, so we're two mages traveling together. That can't be bad. Alright, so your inventory, yes, I know how that works. The first is equipment, which contains any items. Yep. Your backpack. Yep. Okay, quest items. Yeah, cool. Final section shows ciphers you were carrying and your cipher limit. Okay, so this is quest items down here. It didn't make too much sense based off of where the thing was shown exactly what everything was. Okay, so this is a cipher. So then that's pretty much going to be same for me. Okay, so it would be nice if I could get a weapon. My dude here has a mace.
Done. Fine.
Interesting. A stout middle-aged man stands atop the execution platform. He wears the badge of a city official, and a fringe of dreadlocks hangs down to his shoulders from his otherwise bald pate. He gives you a disinterested look as you approach. Please stay back with the others. What's going on here? He casts a brief glance over his shoulder towards Reese. The prisoner, Reese of Flatwater, is being publicly executed as a warning to all who would flout the laws of Sagus Cliffs. How does the execution work? He sighs. Another rustic. It is very simple, ma'am. Our nanos introduce in him a hallucinogenic state. In this state, he experiences visions, nightmares, really. He speaks of the things he sees, and his words become flesh as they leave his mouth. We shape the flesh into a human-like form, the death you see beside him. He gestures toward the hideous figure, which looks to be made of rotting viscera. As more strands escape his mouth, his death wraps them around him, and they slowly crush the life out of him. Once the condemned is dead, the devourer of wrongs will eat his corpse. He raises his chin proud. Thus is justice upheld in Sagus Cliffs. What is Reese's crime? Treason. He sold state secrets to the enemy of Sagus Cliffs. Interesting. Okay, farewell.
I'm going.
Wait, so we can't come up here? No? Okay. Just wanted to see if we could talk to him. This large, bald, broad-shouldered man turns to face you. You freeze. It's not his dark cloak or his sledgehammer, it's that beneath his mustache and goatee, he is so ugly that he'd scare his own mother in a dark alley. He gives you an abrupt nod, and you get the distinct impression that here stands a man who enjoys the boredom of standing guard and the company of his own thoughts. Slow day, good. Nothing wrong with a slow day. Nothing to see here until you pay El Ginto, he says when it's clear that you aren't moving on. With that, he returns his gaze to the distant sea. What's the thing in the cage? A Nycthameron, he says. El Ginto will tell you about it, if that's what you want. Where is El Ginto, anyway? He jerks his chin at the man in the pointy hat nearby. I'm looking for someone who can repair a device. He's already shaking his head before you finish speaking. We don't know anyone like that. We aren't from around here. Farewell.